Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. It is time for Coffee Ann on ON, AM, and FM. It is Wednesday, July 24th. Thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Joe Callahan, and at the Coffee Ann table, I'm being joined by Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Communities. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning, everybody.
And we expected to get Randy Sacalato from the Navigant Credit Union, but Randy has not arrived yet.
Do you want me to just keep moving seat to seat?
Yes, just keep jumping
just
around.
Just play characters and.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. But before you start jumping around, it's time for our first message though from the St. Antoine Communities. Oh, big day yesterday. Huh?
I know, big day, and honestly, you all have heard me talk a lot about our full continuum of services at St. Antoine Community, and that we have assisted living and memory care, and we have a wonderful rehab center and short and long-term skill care. And you've also heard me talk a lot about, for the last 6 months, about our brand new memory care assisted living unit, where we were going to be expanding our existing one from 8 apartments to 24. Well, the official opening day happened yesterday, and it's not to say that we had a ribbon cutting moment, because a lot of people have reached out and asked us about that and when they can come out and tour.
Okay.
We're going to get to there. We're going to do that.
Yeah.
But we really just wanted to do a soft opening and slowly trickle in some of the folks from our existing 8-person unit, get them transitioned over.
Okay.
See how they like the space, see what they enjoy in the space, what they don't like about the space, modify as we need to. And I'm just happy to say that it went really smoothly yesterday. So
Good.
We moved about 3 or 4 folks over yesterday. The rest of them are going to come over today, and then a few additional next week, and keep just rolling that way in that fashion. And I think that process and that plan has worked very favorably for us. So I'm happy to say that Primrose Lane is open and operating, and if you have a loved one that you're caring for with a memory impairment, doesn't just have to be dementia or Alzheimer's, please reach out if you need help and support. I'd be happy to show you around. And if it's not Primrose Lane that can help you, I'm certain I can help you figure out what you need and at what pace and at what timing that works best for you in your situation. So feel free to reach out to me at 401-767-3500, and I'm at extension 702. Thank you.
All right, very good, Melissa. So on Monday we had Paul Jones from Care Concierge of New England.
Yeah.
Based out of North Smithfield. Was he at your event yesterday?
I know, Paul. Well, so yesterday was just moving residents over,
Yeah.
but I did happen to invite Paul out on Monday. So
Okay.
I got my days mixed up when we were talking off the air. So Paul's been a
okay.
friend of mine for a long time in the Senior Community Network. And then a few years ago figured out that we both live in the same town. So we connect on a few different levels now. But yeah, he's a wonderful resource in the community. He's kind of I call him kind of like a middleman, right?
Yeah.
I met him for the first time when I used to work in community services for seniors. So I knew him in that capacity when I was managing adult day health and congregate dining and some of those services. But he's always kind of been this platform community case manager type person, and sort of an asset and a resource to folks that, like I just mentioned, may just not know where to go, what's out there for options, what's affordable, what makes sense and what's a good fit for my loved one. So Paul's been able to help a lot of families I work with who either I can't help or I intend to help, but I can only go so far, and I can refer them over to him for some of the other options that might better suit them. So, and vice versa. And he's always referred to me with whatever capacity I've been in. So yeah, good working relationship, good guy. He's growing his business,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I mean, good for him in this day and age especially, but it's also a testament to the fact that senior services are only going to be more in demand.
Sure.
Populations of seniors are
It's
rising.
growing.
And as I've mentioned, even with regards to Primrose Lane, the volume of folks being diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's, or any kind of memory impairment condition is on the rise. And the calls that I'm getting are not just from, mid 80s like I used to. It's now like entering 70s
It's
and
younger,
60s
isn't
of
it?
folks,
Yeah.
which is alarming and super scary, which only goes to show you a lot of people are going to be, caring for loved ones at a younger age and juggling even more.
And there's no rhyme or reason.
There's no rhyme.
for
I
it.
mean, I hate to say there's probably some components that are, contributing to it.
Okay.
Environmental factors and stress and alcohol abuse and drug abuse
all
and
right.
mental health conditions. And
Yeah.
So there's all that, I think, for sure. But what I'm worried about is, when I was in college and studying gerontology, I learned a lot about the sandwich generation. And that was sort of
the sandwich generation?
That was a trigger term back in the day,
Okay.
when I was in college, which I won't say what year. But that was really describing someone who was more in their 50s caring for a 70-year-old parent.
Okay.
Now it's kind of like a deluxe sandwich generation. You've got people who are in their 30s having babies and young children.
Yeah.
Caring for their parents who are in their 50s and 60s, who are still dealing with their grandparents that are alive in their 80s and 90s. So you're really a double role at that point for some people who are really strapped with the juggle of caring for littles,
Yeah.
as well as their parents and also their grandparents. And so more and more we're seeing folks come in that are just really exhausted and stressed and needing direction. So long-winded way of saying people like Paul are necessary in the community. Community services like adult day health, congregate dining, home care, all that is necessary in the community, as well as long-term placement and social workers that can guide you.
All right, very good there, Melissa. So things are moving along nicely there, and congratulations on the whole Primrose Lane.
I know.
Did the people that you did move in, they like it?
Oh, super cute little story that I'll share with you because it will sit with me forever. I mean, you all have listened to me talk about off the air, probably more than on the air.
Yeah.
It's been an exhausting process. It's been a learning process for me too. I've never opened a brand new unit from
Right.
scratch, nor have I ever been tasked with, decorating it or making modifications that will fit this population. Thought I knew a lot before. I know a lot more now. But to see them walk into the unit yesterday, and the process we had was families packed up their belongings in their apartments next door. Our maintenance department helped move all the
Okay.
furniture and everything over. And then we sort of did a grand reveal, right?
Oh.
Like HGTV. Like you walk them
Yeah,
in and it's like...
you pull the screen away.
I took a
there it
little
is.
video for my own personal enjoyment and also to show my family at home because they know how hard I've been working on this unit. But I got to come up with fake names. Let's see. Anne and Terry, let's say.
All right.
Anne and Terry were the first two to walk through the unit, and it was just their faces were lit up, which was wonderful at everything that was new and shiny to them. But when we walked them to their two separate spaces, and they're sort of on a diagonal from each other, so we took one into one room and one into the other. And they, of course, loved how their families decorated. They were very, ooh, ah.
Of course.
And then wanted to come back out into the hallway to check everything else out. And then I've already lost track of who was Anne and who was Terry, but it doesn't matter. Let's say Anne walked by Terry's room and said, "Oh, who's in there?" And I said, "Well, it's your friend Terry. Let's go say hi." So we walked her in, and it's kind of an L-shaped space, and she didn't see her at first, but she heard her voice, and she's like, "Terry, where are you?" And walked her in, turned the corner, and they just embraced like they hadn't seen each other for years. And they're like, "Isn't this wonderful? I'm so glad you're here. Hold my hand. I love you so much. Let's go check everything out." And
Oh,
it
that's
was
so
just
great.
the sweetest moment. And to have the two of them sort of break it in, we had them sit in every couch, chair, whatever. And we had a donation from Age Innovation of these battery-operated pets. So we have an assortment of cats
like a
and
cat and a
dogs.
dog,
And,
okay.
and you walk by them and they purr or they bark.
Yeah.
And they were just fascinated by them, and we can't thank them enough for their donation. Another person who lives in town is actually the president and owner of that company, and the list goes on and on of our gratitude. But it was a good feeling yesterday after all the work to see them enjoy the space. And I went in first thing before I came here. They slept well last night.
Good.
Staff was happy, so it just was an overall good day. Kind of like the cherry on top of the ice cream.
Good.
Yeah.
So it wasn't not many obstacles to overcome.
No,
yesterday.
very
other
few.
days.
The only issue I had was someone wanted a cup of coffee, and I couldn't find the filters in the kitchen. And I considered myself a runner yesterday. Staff is doing the
Yeah.
care itself, but I was like, whatever supports I can do. You get a new kitchen. I mean,
I'll
I
go
just
find the
renovated my
filters.
kitchen last year in my own house, and it took me like a solid 3-4 months to figure out where everything was.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
someone wanted a cup of coffee, and I failed.
Ah.
I could
Oh,
not find the
no.
filters, had to scramble a bit. So if that's the most of our stressors as we continue to expand and open this unit, I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all.
All right. Well, I'm glad everything went well over there at the St. Antoine Communities in the Primrose Lane.
Thanks.
All right. Other things going on that we want to bring up, and this is it's an amusing story, not for the man involved in the story, but it's amusing to us because it didn't involve us. Down in Cranston, a Rhode Island man's recovering because he shot himself in the leg.
Oh,
He wasn't shot by somebody else. He did it to himself because
Okay.
he got into a fight at a bar,
and he shot himself.
and so he shot himself.
Oh, you shouldn't have
yes.
had that last beer.
In
Is that
addition,
what-
in addition to his injury, the man's also been charged with carrying a gun without a license. and disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest, and firing a weapon in a compact area. You can't
Yeah.
shoot it inside.
No.
So the incident started late Saturday night after I bet a few pops were had. Late Saturday night when an argument turned into a scuffle, and the man allegedly pulled a gun and fired, striking himself. So he's, I was looking at a picture, he's unholstering it and he's pulling it up,
Yeah, and
and then it goes off. He
Yeah.
didn't have a chance to point it at whoever he wanted to point
isn't
it
there
at.
a safety on it too, though? I mean, what am I missing? Are guns
Well,
normally self?
well, they're
I don't. I
supposed
don't
to
have.
be.
I'm not a gun owner, so
He could have unflipped it, and now the safety's off. So cops say the shooter violently resisted arrest, and officers had to take him to the ground just to get the gun away from him. So
Okay.
I don't want to go to prison.
Oh.
Well, that's just too bad, isn't it?
yeah.
So no word on the other guy
No.
that he got into a fight with. He wasn't hit. It doesn't say if this is a life-threatening shot or
Yeah.
not, but
Not smart choices.
no, not
there.
smart choices.
No, and it probably rewound to the 2 or 3 beers prior to
Yeah.
that moment.
And
So
you must have seen this in your lifetime, and it's weird how and it's men, and it's weird how men interact
Yeah.
with each other after they've had a few. Not all of us, by the way,
yeah,
act this way, but all it takes is just bumping into each other,
Oh yeah.
And then it's
Tommy
just-
Tough Guy.
and then
That's what we.
it's- and then
That's what we
it's
call it.
and then it's mayhem. It's like
Yeah.
it was just a mistake.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
But you never know, and I've seen people after they've had a few beers, and some get fun, some get loud, but some get ugly.
Yep.
And back to Tommy Tough Guy.
Tommy Tough Guy.
that I'm gonna take on the bar.
Oh, my
kind
gosh.
of thing. I've been disrespected somehow. Why? Because they nudged your shoulder. I mean,
Yep.
It's just
You know where you see it happen the most is
Where?
concert venues. When you're going through like the concession areas and it's a little tight, everyone's trying to get their whatever before they get to their seats. There's
Okay.
always a moment where even if it's not involving drinking, but for some reason women can handle it. We bump shoulders, we run through, we're fine. Guys have an issue with personal space, I think. A little bit more. Maybe
In
I'm
the
generalizing a little
concession
much,
line.
but not in the line. But do you know what I'm talking about? If you're in the concourse and you're walking through and you've
Oh,
got lines
okay.
backing up into the walking
Yeah,
space,
yeah.
and there's always someone who gets annoyed with "Why didn't you get out of my way?" kind of exchange,
Yeah.
and you're like, seriously, But and then you sprinkle a couple of beers into those moments, and
Yeah.
it can even be worse. But yeah, I'm going to generalize. I'm going to go ahead and say confidently, women are less likely to have an exchange like that than a guy.
I agree.
Yeah.
As men get older, that gets less, by the way.
Oh.
So 50s and onward, that really doesn't happen
You
as much.
chill out a little
But
bit.
it's the 20 and 30-year-olds
Yeah,
that you
the
gotta
cocky,
that you gotta look out for.
Egos,
So,
yeah, all that.
So,
Yep.
all right. So now the sad news is from yesterday, out of North Providence, a 4-year-old child drowned in a pool.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yep. Happened on Cassisi Court around 3:15 yesterday afternoon. CPR was performed on the 4-year-old who was unresponsive when they got there. He was taken to Hasbro Children's Hospital. Did not survive.
Oh my goodness.
I don't have any other information on this because you always wonder, okay, they're 4. Anybody else in the pool? Any other adults?
Mm-hmm.
Were they watching it? And maybe they were. I don't know. I don't try to, don't want to put blame where I don't know where blame should be put. But the child is only 4. And how deep is the pool?
I know. I have
kind
this
of thing.
terrible memory of when my girls were little. One of my daughters, we were at a graduation party. There was just a kiddie pool in the backyard, not even a full pool. And my youngest at the time, who I think was 2.5,
Yeah.
we're talking about like maybe 6-7 inches of water in the kiddie pool. I don't even know. Maybe a little more than that. Probably a little more than that. Maybe 10 inches. Slipped, evidently,
Okay,
and
and
lay
fell,
down,
yeah.
but couldn't get her hands under herself to push herself up. And there was a moment of pure, like, I was
Panic.
talking to another
Yeah.
mom, and somebody like across the yard saw it and like ran over, and I felt
Yeah.
embarrassed for myself because it was right in front of me. So when it comes to hearing about these pool incidents, I can't pass judgment. I know a lot of people say there's laws on fencing and there's laws on all these things to protect.
There probably was a fence.
Accidents happen, and
yes.
I work with a nurse whose husband's a police officer. Ironically, she was even sharing the story the other day about her son, who's 3. He just had his 3rd birthday, and they have a pool off their deck in their house. So it goes house, deck, pool. And he's just a daredevil. They only have 1 kid, and he just beelines for that pool. Like, he sees fun, He
All
loves
right.
fun, right?
I'm jumping in.
So now they've gotten to the point where like it's not a matter of scolding and yelling at him or trying to put boundaries up or trying to find a new way to fence and put parameters up. They've taught him how to safely jump in the pool and
Yeah.
swim on his back to the stairs.
All right.
So now they've got him in a repetitive. So if he happens to fall in, happens to run in unsupervised, he knows how to get himself where he needs to be at 3.
Good.
And you see these videos, there's a lot of people that start with newborns now, throwing them into the
You
water
can,
because they're
like,
supposed to be a natural
It is. It's a natural. It's a reflex to hold your breath.
to hold
when
your
you
breath
go
and like
underwater.
flip onto their backs
Flip on the
like
back
immediately.
and float up, and they know when they get there. It's
Right.
fascinating to watch.
I know, and I don't think I could ever do that as a parent. Throw my kid in the water and hope that that works. But like I said, for me to have a 2.5-year-old in a swimming pool have a moment of potential drowning in a little kid's pool versus this tragic occurrence for
Yeah.
a 4-year-old, it's really quite sad.
It is. It is.
Mm.
And hopefully it just comes down to a tragic accident. All right, it's time
Yeah.
for a second message from the St. Antoine Communities, Melissa, and then we'll take a break here on the Coffee
I
and
feel like
program.
I'm just oversaturating the show. I mean,
that's fine.
Randy, would you like to say anything?
He's having some coffee
He's
right
having
now.
some coffee. Okay. No, I think the only other announcement I have is August 19th is our 25th annual golf tournament. I've also talked about that on the air and love to provide the opportunity to local businesses. If at all possible, if you would love to donate a raffle basket, gift certificate, something to our event. We have a great group in attendance every year. We have a lot of healthcare professionals. Landmark is our title sponsor this year. It's a sold out event, so we're excited about that. But I really take pride in the fact that we always have a generous assortment of raffle prizes and silent auction items, and also promoting the companies that donate them. So if you are interested in supporting this event, it is our 25th anniversary. All proceeds are supporting Primrose Lane, the memory care assisted living I just mentioned. So yeah, reach out to me at 401-767-3500, and somehow we'll coordinate a time for me to pick it up from you or when you can drop it off. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Melissa. And the Coffee and program will continue. You can call in comments or questions at 766-1240.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
And it's Coffee In on ON. Thanks for joining us. It's Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Communities. All right, let's move on to national stuff. Melissa, will you watch Joe Biden tonight? Are you interested in anything he has to say?
I am,
Okay.
only because I did catch a little bit of him calling into his campaign team. Was it Monday? I forgot what day. Was that Sunday? My
Sunday
days are blurred.
Sunday he resigned.
Sunday he resigned. It must
Not
have been-
resigned. I'm sorry. Sunday he dropped out of the
He
race.
dropped out.
And then he met with his
stepped
people
down.
on Monday.
It might have been Monday. I heard him call in. And I have to say, we've all been incredibly critical of his inability to deliver a message without teleprompter, without
He'll have
know.
that tonight.
all of it, right?
Yeah.
That call on Monday, he sounded rested. You know he's on a phone call. It didn't sound like scripted or teleprompter. He was just talking to his team.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if they had planned to originally broadcast it the way that they did. It sounded kind of like an intimate forum of folks, basically their staff, their campaign team. Because even the video feed was very blurry. And I just felt like, wow, that sounded like the old Joe. It actually sounded like he was rested, maybe at peace with his decision,
Well, maybe
whatever
that's
it
it, yeah.
was. So I'm actually thinking watching him tonight, you may see relief.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, and you might see a little bit of like a genuine delivery because I think and any one of us, when we're speaking from the heart and you're at peace with something, it's a little bit more relaxed and
Yep.
genuine and not so forced, which is maybe what his issue was in the debate a couple weeks back. So,
All right. Well, I was off by one day
okay.
when they said, President Biden's going to speak to the nation sometime this week. I said, I bet he picks Thursday because Thursday is the day. If any Major League Baseball teams are going to have a day off in the week, it's usually Thursday. That's their travel day. Oh, he should pick Thursday. There won't be many baseball games on. You'll get a bigger audience.
Yeah.
Completely wrong. He's going tonight.
He's
so,
going tonight.
Okay, that's not my choice.
Maybe that was his strategy not to have a big audience.
Well, okay, maybe. I don't know how
Could have
long he's
been
going
it.
to speak for.
Yeah.
I'll go out on a limb and say, and think I think he resigns tonight.
Oh yeah. 100%.
But then again, he may not. He may say,
Yeah.
"No, I'm rested. I'm fine. I'm gonna."
It does make sense. If your platform for
makes
not running in the
perfect
fall
sense.
is, I just think why not now?
And if they want to vault Harris up, so she can campaign as President Harris,
Yep,
that helps her
That does.
a lot.
it does.
So why not give her that boost if
know.
if that's what they're going for?
Yeah, it makes me want. Years ago, I think I had shared on the air. I'm having a vague remembrance of this that there was a show called Veep with
Yeah,
Julia
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, fantastic show if you've never seen it. Really, I mean, it's a comic interpretation of basically what we're watching
Yeah,
unfold right
right.
now. But I often think about that show in the last week or so, and I'm thinking I got to go back and revisit it for some highlight reels potentially. but however it happens, pretty phenomenal day in history. That's all we keep saying to our girls is,
yeah.
however you're swinging on this, it really doesn't matter. Well, I get it matters. I shouldn't put that casually, but still pretty remarkable. So if he does step down and passes the baton, that's a pretty important day in history, regardless of how you said.
And you were there.
Yeah.
Kids,
I know.
you saw it happen. So.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be the last female. It
Oh,
may not
no.
be the best
No.
female, and I've heard the Republican side talk at great lengths the last few days with some very insulting terms. And I don't disagree. It may not be the best female candidate, but I think it shows that we've come pretty far, and hopefully we give her the respect that she deserves.
Well, the Democrats will.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Republicans are going to attack
Yeah.
and attack and attack, kind of thing. So, all right. And so there's that point. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing was what happened yesterday is the head of the Secret Service did resign.
I saw that.
Kimberly Cheadle was her name. Did you watch any of her?
Holy
under
cow! That
under
was
the gun?
it 4 hours? 2
Oh, it
hours,
was
4 hours.
Well, it was pretty long on Monday
It-
and more
I caught
yesterday, and it
snippets.
was like wow.
It was a firing squad like from both
Yeah,
sides, and
both
rightfully
sides.
all of it was appropriate. None of it was
Oh, yeah.
justifiable. It could have all been prevented.
So it makes you think: was the attempted assassination, as she keeps saying, it was a failure on our part, or was it planned? I'm going for a good conspiracy theory here. Did she and maybe some others allow this to take place? Because it just seems that there were too many mistakes.
Yeah, I was really paying attention. She kept mentioning the clips that I saw, anyways, and maybe another answer was given at some point. But she kept mentioning about the budget, like the budget for staff for Secret Service assignment, and that there was a request that was, or maybe it was the firing of questions to her about that. Like, why was that denied? Maybe that's what it was.
We didn't have enough money.
We didn't have enough money, and
Oh,
I was like,
jeez.
that doesn't make sense, right?
No.
And even if that's the case, do you say to yourself, yeah, okay, if you're weighing out the venues for not a debate, for a speech like that from Trump, it was a smaller venue, it wasn't a farm or a very rural location. Maybe you sort of weigh out and say, oh, I can't spend as much on this site. I'll float some of that money if that's what she's talking about, if that's how
Yeah.
she's referencing. I'll save some additional hands and staff and float some of the money more to the venue that we're going to next versus this one. I don't know. Maybe I sound like I'm justifying it. None of it's justifiable. This should never
Yeah.
have happened.
But even on the, money aside, from what I'm hearing, and this is what the reps and the senators were questioning her with. They said people at the event were pointing out to the Secret Service, and he's right there.
That's what's crazy.
He's right
I
there on the
know.
roof with a rifle.
Clear as day, and the video footage from
Why
some people
aren't
too.
you doing anything?
I know. Yep, it didn't just look
And
like a
she
guy
didn't-
laying
and-
down. It was a
That's
guy
right.
with a rifle.
And she didn't answer.
I
she,
know.
she had no answer for it, other than, it was a mistake, or it was a failure, or I also heard her say it was hot on the roof. I'm like, hot on the roof? What does that mean?
No.
And the other thing I heard yesterday, I have absolutely no idea if this is true or not. that the guy that did the shooting has an offshore bank account with $1 million in it.
Does he?
I'm like,
He's
"Well, but
20.
I know, and he's a dietary aide at a nursing home.
So
I don't
was
think
he
you-
bribed? Was he paid? Like, that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Did someone pay him off to do this? Obviously
Yeah.
not the nursing home, by the way.
Obviously not them.
But then who?
Yeah.
And then if we keep going down the line, I'm looking at the family of the man that died. Can they go sue her? She has admitted that the Secret Service failed.
Government employee, though. She's protected by the government. So, no, I don't know that they can sue her directly.
Sue the Secret Service
Yeah, I
as
don't
as
know.
an organization.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
These
know
are not
either.
answers that you know
I
what?
know,
I
I
bet
know.
Randy has the answers. Randy?
He's keeping quiet today. So, all right, I don't know. So, but I don't know who's in charge of the Secret Service now. I guess there had to be a second in command, who's now
I know.
the interim person.
Right.
And all we heard in the news this morning was, gee, we really want President Trump to if he's going to do one of these rallies again, do it inside.
Yeah.
Don't be outside.
Yeah.
And
Wouldn't he have a little post-traumatic stress from that too? I kind of would. I would feel maybe a little bit like, you know what? Let's
He
not
could.
do that again and
do it outside?
and keep it limited. I mean, everything's broadcasted and streamed anyways,
Yeah.
so let's just keep it to cap it at
He might
200
because
people indoors.
now he's coming out saying he asked for more security, and she kept saying no.
Yeah.
She either said no or she wouldn't respond. So maybe he will say, "All right, let's go. Let's be inside. Let's go to some like the AMP in Providence.
Yeah.
We'll do the whole thing inside, and that way they can secure it a little
You're
better."
also presenting
So-
it like he asked in a respectful way, or he asked in a not.
Well, I don't know.
I think he's a pretty demanding individual. So
well, maybe.
I think if there's like a laundry list of terms that are being requested, it might have gotten swallowed up in those. Which security is the number one. It shouldn't be ignored at all. But you know what I'm saying? It's
Yep.
kind of like the Mariah Carey reputation that you hear a lot about, or Madonna, the diva,
divas,
the
yeah.
divas. They want all the red Skittles taken out and put in a bowl, and they want all the brown M&Ms taken out and put in a bowl.
And
Like
the,
I think I'm going to assume Trump probably has a list of things like that.
What's
No?
the best? No, he might. But I'm thinking the best one for the divas is Ariana Grande. I can't be photographed from this side. I have to be photographed from that side.
Oh, God, I
'Cause
haven't
that's-
even heard that
That's my
one.
good side, and the lighting's got to be just right. I'm like, oh, you're out of control.
I'm going to start telling people that about my side. I got a Dutch nose. I'm going to start saying,
There
hey,
you go.
not my
Hey,
right
hey,
side.
no photos, please. So, but I'm always, I'm always scouting around and trying to find what's a good conspiracy theory to see where things go. And so I just happened to hear it yesterday about the offshore bank account. And is it right? Is it true? I don't know.
I don't know. You
So
know,
will
you said it's
will
not.
we find out? I don't know.
It couldn't be the nursing home, but it very well could be a resident in the nursing. I got to tell you, some seniors
they
have
get that
stashed
much
cash
money?
for many, many years, and
All right.
if the
then.
right senior is rubbed about the election this year, who knows? Who knows? But,
All right. Are you surprised, by the way, Melissa, about the way that the Democrats have just, and not just elected officials, I mean, people that consider themselves Democrats in general, have just all fallen in line and says, yes, Harris is our person. They don't even want to discuss it.
I am very surprised.
We've been told this is her, so okay.
Yeah.
It's her. She's our guy.
I'm very surprised, and
So am I.
because when the announcement came out on Sunday, I remember saying to my husband, "Oh, buckle up! This is going to be an interesting couple weeks of people coming to."
I want it.
Right.
I want it. That's what I thought
I
too.
never
And it's
thought
like,
that by the next day I'd wake up and see such support floated to her.
Yep.
Not saying it's not deserving, but give me a minute. I need to refresh my memory on what was her platform for various topics back when she ran. I needed to refresh myself because she's really been a silent party
Yes.
for the last 4 years, and I don't know if that's because of Biden's instruction or maybe they didn't align in every area. I don't know the reason, let's say, of her being so silent, but I need to refamiliarize myself. But other people with absolute confidence to step forward and say, she's my girl. I'm absolutely surprised. I thought there'd be a few more names on the table, and I'm not sure that that's still not going to happen. It might have been a smart strategy
Well,
for them to say, hey, let her kind of come forward and then give it a week, let it fizzle down. I'll survey it, and then I'll come forward.
The other theory I hear on that one is there's just not enough time to get somebody else with some kind of name recognition in the
Right.
Democratic Party to run against Trump. She's the one with the best name recognition. outside of like Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama.
Right.
Outside of that, she's it. She's in. So that's why we're going to push her, because she's the one with the best name recognition in such a short amount of time to campaign.
And that might align with your theory about tonight being an announcement of him stepping down.
Yes.
I think if that wasn't the strategy, you might have seen more names come forward. But I think if he's officially decided he needs to step down and she comes up in replacement, what are you going to do? Put, like, you know what I mean? You're going to have 3 or 4 governors in line that you're thinking about go up against this brand newly appointed female president. So I think you have to sort of say at some point, yeah.
And the other jokes I heard since Sunday, he goes, well, we'll see who the Democratic nominee as soon as George Clooney puts his stamp of approval on it.
Oh, gosh.
And guess what? George Clooney endorses Kamala Harris.
He does.
That
That's
came out
interesting.
yesterday.
I was curious about
Yes.
that because his wife is also, isn't his wife a prosecutor? She's a
George Clooney's wife?
Yeah, she's a
Jeez,
lawyer.
I don't know. Clooney wrote an op-ed piece earlier this month in the New York Times calling for a new nominee for the Democratic Party after Biden's shaky debate performance. He also said, we're shutting off the money to Biden if he doesn't step down. So in a statement to CNN, Clooney said Biden's a true leader for stepping aside and giving his full support to Harris for the 2024 election. The actor added he's so excited to do whatever he can to support the vice president in her quest for the Oval Office.
So
that means the money
Yeah.
now starts coming back in.
there's another part that I'm watching closely too, and that is Barack Obama. So
Yes.
yesterday he released a statement in social media, a very lengthy letter, just of his admiration of Joe, et cetera, et cetera. Nowhere in that
Nothing
did
about
it say,
Harris,
and
right?
he has not come out and endorsed anybody.
Still.
And
yeah,
so I
it's
kind of
wild.
find that
That's odd.
interesting. And I know, as you know, you look, he's got like 7 million followers on Instagram, so you know he still has a pretty good following. So I don't know that the story has ended yet.
Maybe not, and maybe something happens at the convention, which is
Possibly.
3 or 4 weeks away.
Possibly.
All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program, and more coming your way. We are going to take a look at the weather forecast, brought to you by Allstate Insurance.
Cloudy skies today, high of 75, 50% chance of patchy showers and thunderstorms. Tonight, cloudy skies, overnight low of 68. Thursday's weather, showers, thunderstorms possible, especially in the afternoon, 50% chance. Mostly cloudy skies Thursday with a high of 83 degrees. Friday's weather, sunny with a high of 83. Saturday, sunshine and 86. Sunday, sunny and 88. Monday, sunny and 89. And next Tuesday, mostly sunny skies, high of 87.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, cloudy skies, 72 degrees. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Integrity, trust, service. 3 words that sum up what you can expect from the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Established in 1987, we've been helping local investors to build wealth and guide them through their golden years of retirement using quality stocks of companies that you know, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We also use investment-grade bonds and low-cost exchange-traded funds. To find out more about our services and for a quality conservative approach to investing, call us at 765-8880. Integrity, trust, service. The Carew Investment Group. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up gołąbki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Lou Mandeville here to tell you the only place to get your local high school and college scores, as well as the Pats, Bruins, Celtics, and Sox is on My Morning Sports Reports. And they are right here on ON 1240, Monday through Friday on the Morning Fun Show.
This portion of Coffee In is sponsored by Navigant Credit Union.
This is an ad about a self-made teen. Me. See, I go to school, I do my chores, but I also have my own goals. I'm saving what I earn from making radio ads like this one to buy a gaming computer, and I'm using my Embark account to do it. With no fees, mobile banking, and a money management tool, it's like a spend account, but a lot smarter. So if you're a self-made teen like me, I suggest you get one too. The Embark account, banking for the self-made teen. Navigant Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
All right, Coffee In on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Communities, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say Randy's not coming from Navigant Credit Union, but that's okay. Maybe something came up, and it's the way it goes. So, all righty, just moving on to other things going on. Not good news here for you, Melissa. A proposed winter rate hike would likely cost Rhode Island Energy customers, on average, a 23% more this winter. Yay.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So excited.
The state's largest utility company proposed the new winter electricity rate to the Rhode Island Public Utilities Commission. And whenever they send in the rate hike to the Utility Commission, they just go, okay. Very rare do they say no. They give them what they want.
Isn't that crazy?
And it just happens. Yeah. So the increase would increase the rates from 10.4 cents per kilowatt hour to 16.4 cents per kilowatt hour, starting in October and going all the way to March. Right at Christmas time when you're using a lot more electricity.
Well, right.
Yep.
I mean, I would also say summer right now, like the way the heat patterns have been and
Yeah.
running air conditioners the way that we have been is
Yeah.
probably attributing. They're probably losing
yeah.
right now and
A lot of
saying
money.
we got to make up for it.
Yep.
Which,
So they're looking on the average for you, because you're the homeowner here in Rhode Island, $31 more per month. So,
I would love it if someone would come up with, and I know they have these educational bikes
yeah.
to like show how much energy you're burning when you're on them. They have like blenders attached
Oh,
to
yeah,
them.
yeah.
My husband has them up at school, and I'd like one of those in my house. If it could like maybe just be that I go on that bike for an hour and that's enough energy to fuel
Power a light bulb or something?
Something.
Yeah, that would be
You know what I
cool.
mean? My TV, something. Computer,
remember-
internet, something.
I remember seeing that as a kid at the Boston Museum of Science.
Yeah.
You had to pedal faster to light up
Yeah.
the brighter light bulbs.
So why are we not doing that? Like
I
I
don't know.
feel as though
That's-
you've got
that
all
would be
these
great.
stationary bikes right now that fuel what is it, the Pelotons and
Yeah.
whatever else. They all have these extra fancy things. Even if it was just me on my treadmill, like
could do it,
recycling the
yeah.
energy from the treadmill that I'm using electricity for. So if someone could just whip that up, I own the rights of the idea. By saying it on the air publicly, and this is recorded, right?
Yes.
But yeah, if you could just take that idea and run with it, I'll just take a little fee for it.
Well, that Peloton bike, by the way, is at least $1,000.
At least.
So if you want to do it what you wanted to do, that now it's going to be $5,000.
Probably. I know.
The same
It'll take
with
me
the- same
20
with-
years just to make up the
That's right. The same
cost.
with the treadmill.
I know.
And is anybody going to buy them?
Nope.
Do you want to? Do you want to? Create electricity for your house? Well, it's going to cost this much. I mean, maybe
You're gonna
maybe
have
not.
to walk 3,500
How many steps per day?
something miles in order to pay off that.
All right, up in Massachusetts, the word came out yesterday that they are going to retry Karen Reed.
Oh, I heard.
Right now on the same counts. They're not going to have they're not going to have it until January 27th.
Yeah.
And so back to what do you think of this theory? We're waiting. Oh, they're waiting that long, hoping that by then, the people that will be in the jury pool by then will have forgotten
Start from scratch.
all the details.
Yeah. You know
So
what
we're
they
gonna
need
bring
to
in a whole
do?
new
They
group.
need to do, and then maybe this is what needs to change in the judicial system, but when it comes to jury pools and not wanting jurors to know about certain cases ahead of time or how to vet
Mm-hmm.
them out, is borrow from other states. Like I have friends in Rhode Island who know nothing about the Karen Reed trial, or they've heard of it but they don't know the specifics
Oh, then-
involved
then
in
that
it.
would be
Even I
perfect.
don't know everything,
Yeah.
right? So just borrow from a Rhode Island sampling, and I'm
Okay.
sure there's some case in Rhode Island that we could borrow a Massachusetts sampling and just do a little crossover.
That'd be a great idea.
What do you think?
I like
Oh my
that.
gosh,
that
like
idea.
the ideas that are
that's-
pouring out of me
that's
today
perfect.
on the air.
But I just don't see the two states helping each other that
No,
way
I don't either.
for some reason.
I love the idea,
But speaking of the Karen Reed case, 2 more state troopers associated with the Reed case are now under internal affairs investigation. The troopers are Lieutenant
Yeah.
Brian Tully and Sergeant Yuri Bukinik. and the investigations over possible violations of department policies. State police are confirming the investigation and say both men both remain on full duty at this time. The troopers are based at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, which is prosecuting Reed over the death of her Boston cop boyfriend, John O'Keefe. So, and I know they're supposed to meet, the defense is supposed to meet, probably with the prosecutors too, with the judge sometime in August, and because the defense wants some cases dismissed. And we'll see if charges dismissed,
Yep.
I should say. And so we'll see if that happens.
And then you
I don't
add
know.
like a juicy little headline, which I'm victim for not opening the article and reading it, but there was a juicy little headline with a picture attached of Karen Reed and her lawyer out on a date Saturday night. And
How do you
so,
know? How do you know it's a date though?
well, the way so he was definitely hugging her, and she
Oh,
was
all right.
definitely like not dressed in courtroom attire. Let's say
Okay,
that
okay,
on
well.
a Saturday evening outside a restaurant. And then you sort of say to
now
yourself,
there's nothing wrong with this.
there's nothing wrong with that, but aren't you kind of smart enough to say, hey, if I'm going to be seen with you out in public, let's not make it a Saturday night. Let's not make it at this restaurant. We know that people are following us from the media and bloggers or whatever. You're a little more under the radar. It's kind of foolish of her and a misstep. So anyways, like I said, I didn't click the article and read it, but rumors are swirling. So that's also, I mean,
Now, is that a conflict of interest if they're dating and he's her lawyer?
it's happened before. Lifetime has a million movies with that happening. Just,
And they're all so true. So.
exactly, right? I mean, we've already said that this is supposed to be a Netflix docuseries.
It will be. There's a
Yeah.
3-part series coming out, and they're just
So-
starting it. So
It's all going to just add to the plot. They're just maybe that's what they're doing is giving enough juice for this to be maybe a 2-season series.
well, okay. I guess so. The latest news will be sometime in August when they have the meet to see if any of the charges get dropped.
Actually, that's a good point. Will they have for the docuseries the first 3 that are slated for the first trial, and then season 2 is going to be for the
Well,
second trial?
we asked that yesterday. How can you do this when the story hasn't been completed yet?
Yeah.
Or you're just going to end with the
That's what I'm
with the hung
wondering.
jury, and then you're like, well, then there's more to the story, so
Right.
you got to keep going. So we'll see. So with the big outage yesterday, the big IT outage that happened, that knocked down the flights and everything like
Yeah.
that. It also knocked down banks, and it also knocked down vehicle inspections in the
Yeah.
state of Massachusetts.
Yep.
They are now back online.
Yeah.
And so now, if you need to get your car inspected in Mass, it will resume today. The State Department of Transportation says that systems that were crippled by last week's global IT outage are now restored. Owners who failed inspections before July 19th are being given until August 10th to get their vehicle retested. The global tech problems also impacted hospitals, airlines, financial institutions in the state,
Oh yeah.
and it affected my son's girlfriend,
Oh.
who flew in on Thursday, and they were going to do things around the Boston area,
Yeah.
and then she was flying home on Sunday.
Nope. Delta.
I think it was Delta.
I heard Delta's like
And
the
then-
worst, like
yeah,
3-4
and-
days lag time.
And you wonder why, if we're all using the same software,
Why they're
why
having-
are you behind, United American or not?
Yeah.
What's going on with you guys?
Oh. Oh, I feel like I
I
can.
don't know. So,
feel
but my son was happy because
Oh, she got to stay.
She got to stay a couple
And
more
she got
days.
to justify, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't. Sorry, her job is out in Colorado right now. Sorry, I can't get back. That's just
Nothing I can do. It's on the
even-
news.
Even if I start driving,
Yeah,
I'm still
it's
not going to
just
get
too
there
much.
until Wednesday. So
So true. I know that my we haven't talked since last Wednesday. So my father-in-law was scheduled for heart surgery on Friday morning. Of course, that got bumped. Got to the hospital, check in, everything's down.
nothing works.
My niece had her wisdom teeth surgery planned on Friday. Can't do that. But the worst story I think that I heard, this is awful. A nurse that we work with, which I will not provide title or anything, but
right.
her daughter a few months ago was set to have a colonoscopy. Went through the prep work the day before, the day of the test, had a computer issue at the office. We're going to reschedule you. So she had her
do
repeat
the prep
colonoscopy
again.
scheduled for Friday. Did the prep work on Thursday. So 2 times because of computer issues, did the prep work without the test. Is that not awful? I mean, it actually
yeah.
was something worth calling and sharing with my father-in-law because I felt like he was really, upset about his procedure getting bumped. And I'm like, well, just think. You could have done all the prep work the day before for a colonoscopy, and if you've ever had one, you know the
much fun
torture
it
involved
is.
with that.
Yeah.
To just end up having it be bumped. So yeah, So I guess when in doubt, think of that as an example.
And as a public service announcement, if you are going to have a colonoscopy, don't try to be cute. Do the prep work.
Do the prep work.
Doctors and nurses are not stupid.
Nope.
And I've been told by a couple of doctors and
It
nurses.
shows everything.
As soon as they start, they know right away whether or not you did the prep work, and they will stop everything.
Yep. And you just got to do it again
and
anyways.
they bring you out of it, and they say, we couldn't do it because we know you didn't do the prep work. And don't try to lie to them.
Nope.
Yes, I did. No, you didn't.
Nope. No, you didn't.
So yeah, we're gonna have to schedule it again.
Yeah.
And you probably have to pay for that use
Yep.
of the operating room for that day too now.
It is such a money making business. My husband had his first one, and I had to
Yeah.
be his driver a
Right.
couple months back. And when I tell you, sitting in the waiting room and watching people get pumped in and out of there
Oh,
for their
yeah.
colonoscopy,
It's a lot.
it was insane. It was very, very hectic. And I thought to myself, how have we not, similar to like throat cultures with the swab of the throat, it's just a miserable procedure, right?
yeah.
No one likes to have that done. Colonoscopies, how have we not figured out a different way to achieve
Well-
the results that is giving you?
Because what they've always told me is if they discover a polyp, they're gonna remove it.
Yep.
So with a swab,
Yep.
that's not gonna
Two
work.
birds, one stone, right?
That-
like
that's
you've
right.
done your cleanse and
Yep.
yeah.
And then, or it would take, and then we gotta test it.
Right.
Make sure it's not cancerous.
Yep.
And like that.
It's
So-
just the whole, it's really pretty aggressive, let's say.
But I've been in there. You know, every hospital is different. But I've been there with the big white board, like a smart board, and there's 20 people's names
Yep.
are on this.
Yep.
You know, with three or
I
four
mean, they
different
have
doctors.
a pretty
I'm like-
efficient
I'm like,
system.
oh,
In,
there-
out,
oh,
in, out.
There I am.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. And you know, always the funniest thing when the doctor walks in, and I've said this before. The doctor will ask me, "Do you know why you're here?" I know exactly why I'm here. Do you know why
you
you're
know I'm
here?
here?
You're,
Yeah.
you're the one doing the procedure. I hope you know what you're doing.
Yep. Oh,
They-
Lord.
They, get a good laugh out of that.
It's true.
All
They
right.
probably appreciate a patient who's a little
Oh,
bit,
yeah,
you know,
little humor. All right. We're going to take a break here on the Coffee In program. This portion of Coffee In has been sponsored by Navigant Credit Union.
Big banks offer you everything these days. Bank from home, bank from your phone, even apply for a loan from anywhere you are. It's called Big Bank Tech, and it's pretty cool. Did you know you don't have to go to a big bank to be pretty cool? Navigant Credit Union offers their members all the big bank tech without the big bank. And if you want to come into a branch to see us, we'll make you feel like you own the place, because you do. We think that's pretty cool too. Navigant Credit Union, member NCUA. It's coming. It's the 2024 Holy Trinity Parish Carnival on the parish grounds at Park Square in Woonsocket, July 31st to August 3rd. Relive memories, make new ones. Starts at 6 p.m. every night, plus a Saturday afternoon matinee. All your favorite parish games and Rockwell amusements nightly. Great food at Cuisine Ronaldo, 6 to 9 each night. Fireworks Thursday night, classroom bingo, and live entertainment nightly. Live radio broadcasts on Wednesday night and Saturday for the big drawings. For the 500 lottery tickets, split the pot in the $10,000 raffle. Tickets available at the ticket office on the parish grounds. It's 4 nights and one great afternoon of summertime fun at the Holy Trinity Parish Festival, Wednesday, July 31st through Saturday, August 3rd. Make your plans to be there.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Okay, Coffee In here on ONAMF FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Communities. And we're going to get to the fun stories now, Melissa.
It's my favorite part of the show.
And this is just...
Actually,
this is,
I have to tell you, Joe, there really hasn't been anything. I mean, there's a couple sad headlines in there,
Yeah.
but nothing that's been really.
Did you see the video yesterday off the coast of New Hampshire with
yes,
the whale
Yes,
and
yes.
the
I just
boat?
sent it to my husband this
I'm
morning.
like, wow.
Because that is our favorite place in the world is
That-
Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
okay,
I went to UNH. That's
Yep.
where we fell in love. We dated. We go up there once a year. We bring the kids now. It's our place.
All
So
right.
whenever I saw it said Portsmouth, it just said Portsmouth originally on the headline. I'm
Okay.
like, what country? Because there's no way that would happen here. I'm like, Portsmouth where?
Yeah.
Holy cow, that was
right.
scary. Did you see the guy
Yes.
jump off the boat? He
Fell
got
off.
like knocked off the
Fell off,
boat.
and one that got like catapulted off. And this is not a small boat. I mean, it's kind of
No,
tiny, but
I
it's not.
mean,
It's not like
not
a canoe
that.
or something like that. This was, and it flipped over
Yep.
because the whale came up was it going after food? Is that what they say it was doing?
I read quickly, and it said that this particular type of humpback whale is blind in terms of
Oh.
like angles. I think it's something about like the peripheral
Yeah.
vision is impaired when there are. It's not just the boats around it. I think there was like a group of them. I think there was multiple whales.
Yeah.
Something like can't see side to side or whatever. So when it goes into breaches, it can't see up. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not a normal occurrence, and it wasn't a violent, intentional occurrence at all.
And he just lands on the back of the boat. I don't know,
No.
is that the bow or the stern? I think it's the
crazy,
stern.
and
But
it, like,
anyway,
flipped.
and it flips the boat over. And but luckily there were quite a few other boats in that area. One was filming, obviously. If you can go check it out, and they went right over and grabbed these guys out of the water, so they're fine.
Yeah, it's
I
not
think they had
like the
some
whale
injuries.
was trying to eat anybody
No,
like a great
but
white
it's-
shark, but
it's-
it was.
It is so impressive to see
It
him come
is.
up on the water and come crashing down on the boat. So keeping it on the nautical theme,
Yeah.
sharks
Holy cannoli.
off the Brazilian coast
Oh.
are testing positive for cocaine.
What?
Biologists have tested 13 Brazilian sharp-nosed sharks in the waters near Rio de Janeiro and found concentrations 100 times higher than previously found.
Oh my.
Now, it doesn't say if it's
God.
affecting the sharks in any way, like they just keep swimming in circles or whatever.
They're having a great time.
Oh, and they're very mellow.
Yeah, I
I don't know. But the biologists saying we're not exactly sure how the sharks are coming in contact with the cocaine. One theory is that the labs that are making it
are dumping
are
the.
dumping it in the ocean when I don't know they get caught or whatever, or this isn't the batch
it's not
we
the
really
right
wanted.
recipe
Yeah.
or-
So
yeah.
they're just throwing it in the ocean, and the sharks are
my
just they're eating
gosh.
it because they're swimming through the ocean. So it's like wow. So the findings were published this
Oh.
week in Science of the Total Environment. I guess that's some kind of publication. So yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. I
So-
thought you were going to talk about the great white sharks that are being spotted off the coast of the Cape.
The Cape, they're in Rhode Island.
It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
they're
Like
on-
great whites. That's no
and
joke.
and breaching.
And breaching.
And coming up and saying hi.
Yeah.
Hey.
Very
how are ya?
concerning. I even when we were in Outer Banks a couple weeks ago, I was very, very stressed about sharks.
Yeah.
I know the media, like, we have more access to it than when
Yeah.
we were kids, and so definitely you're paying more attention to it. You're seeing videos of it. It definitely heightens your anxiety about swimming in the ocean. But if you've ever been to North Carolina or anywhere a little bit further south where the water's a little bit warmer, and you
Yeah.
see
So there's more.
seals or you see dolphins a little out there, but still within
Stay
your vision,
away.
you're like, I'm not sure I'm gonna go past my waist. Like
Yeah.
I'm good, because I like to not have that occurrence on vacation.
That's
Yeah.
right. And some say, "Oh, don't worry, that one's not a man eater." I'm not out here to determine which one is and
No,
isn't.
I'm definitely that person.
Any shark, I'm out
If
of.
I
I'm out of
can't
there.
see my feet, I'm out.
Yeah, it bothers me when seaweed touches my leg and I wasn't
It's
expecting
true.
it.
It's true. Oh
What's
my
that?
God, we're very similar. Yeah.
All right. It's too bad Randy's not here. He would appreciate this. A scam artist from Texas, nicknamed the Gucci Goddess,
Yeah.
will be spending the next 15 years in federal prison. Usually these scam artists are men, but this is a woman. Janet Mello is a former civilian contractor at the Army's Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, and she was caught running a shell company that received grants from the military's 4-H program, which partners with clubs to help military families. In reality, Mello pocketed more than $100 million.
Holy cow.
So she, I can see why. She needed to buy fancy purses, sports cars, and dozens of properties, trying to
Yep.
launder the money.
Oh my gosh.
All which have now been seized by the IRS. So, nice try,
Nice try.
but you didn't quite make it. And here's something you shouldn't do either, Melissa.
Yeah.
And I know things get bad, and you might fall on tough times. But a Pennsylvania man is being accused of setting his own home on fire to prevent it from being sold. Authorities in Dalmatia, Pennsylvania, say Andrew Solder intentionally set the house on fire late last month, the same day it was scheduled for a sheriff's sale. So it's been seized.
Oh. Foreclosed or-
Foreclosed,
yeah.
because now the sheriff is selling it. So the owner there, Soder, reportedly owed more than $100,000 on the home, and was charged in January with writing more than $45,000 in fraudulent checks.
Oh,
So that's
my
another
gosh.
issue. To his landlord, he's facing felony charges just for the fire. Never mind the bad checks. It doesn't say what happened to the house. I wish I knew. Did they get it out? Could they still sell it? But you really shouldn't.
Oh boy.
You shouldn't be doing that either. All right. On to better news. The fittest city in the United States.
City?
The fittest cities.
Los Angeles.
No.
Wasn't that always the joke back in the day? Like that was where they had
That's all the smog was.
all the weightlifting equipment on the beach, like every.
Oh, they still have it at that. What's that beach?
Oh my gosh, I know what you're talking about.
Start with a P or a V.
Venice.
Venice Beach.
Okay.
Yes. I've been on Venice Beach.
Yeah,
And
I have too. A long time
and
ago,
I've
though.
watched those guys,
Yeah, lifting.
those huge muscle
On
pound
the
guys,
beach.
doing the pull-ups.
Yeah.
Lifting weights.
Yeah.
They are monstrous.
They're monsters. They're on steroids.
Uh,
100%.
and they're all sprayed down with the. They all glisten.
They got
go-
that bronze oil.
Yeah. And this goes back to the 80s. I remember.
I think
this.
that's
I
why
go,
I thought of that location. But
and I think I don't know if they realize it, but you know who you're really impressing? The other guys.
yeah, yeah.
There are no women
No, they're
standing
admiring each
around
other.
watching
Yeah.
you do this. The other guys are watching you.
Yep.
But maybe they want that. Anyway, the fittest cities in the U.S., Arlington, Virginia, and Washington, D.C.
Huh.
I can kind of see that.
Because of the amount
it's
of walking you're
They're
doing.
both
Yeah.
walking cities.
I agree, though, because if you've been to D.C. recently or not, all my trips there, I have to tell you, I've always been inspired. I'm a runner, not a great runner, but I'm a runner. But like right around the monument, there folks running, and they have it. It's the way that it's set up. It's like a nice, like soft gravel. It's
Is
like
it?
a nice running surface.
and so if you go in this direction, it's 3 miles. If you go in this
yeah,
direction,
they
it'll be
probably
5
know
miles.
if I
It's
do
already
like
by the loop.
few laps. Yeah.
So this is according to a ranking by the American College of Sports Medicine and the Anthem Foundation. Seattle, San Francisco, and Madison, Wisconsin come in second, third, and fourth. A little surprising about San Francisco, but okay. And surprised about Madison because it gets so cold there in the wintertime. The index ranks the 100 largest cities in the country using 33 indicators. Coming in at the bottom, Memphis, Tennessee, Port St. Lucie, Florida, which I'm a little surprised at, and Oklahoma City. So
Interesting.
they don't move in those areas. So all right, and so Melissa's daughter is going to be a senior this year, and now it's time for senior pictures.
Yes.
And Melissa was telling me about the latest trend amongst the seniors, and it happened with my daughter too. Just last
Yeah.
year, you don't go just sit in the trailer and have your picture taken with the boring blue background. You
Yep.
have a choice, and you can go to your own photographer.
Yep.
Which is what my daughter and her friends did. And so her pictures, her at some park there and leaning up against a tree.
Yeah.
So what does your daughter want to do?
So I was surveying Joe off the air because we have not our kids are perfectly aligned in age. He's a little ahead of me, but I ask him questions often in a surveying format. So I've been hearing a lot about these special senior portraits being done down by the beach, or in your case for your daughter at a park, and I thought, okay, well, I guess this is a thing that we're supposed to do now. I've been pricing it out, and it can be really expensive. Like one session, they'll do 30-minute one outfit for like $350, and then it only goes up from there. So if you want two outfits, two different positions, 45 minutes, it's going to be $600, and then it keeps going up. So I said to Joe, am I crazy? Like, what am I doing with all these pictures after? Because in my house, I take pride. I love candids, and I love capturing my kids when you're like laughing hysterically or on vacation somewhere. I like the moment captured. We're not really a formal portrait family because I think it's a little. I think it could, for me, this is my opinion, could be a little creepy, a little shrine-ish. So, and I've never been that parent that with my kids going through each grade, take that school photo. I might have done it early on, but then I stopped at some point. But they're, because they never liked their pictures from their grade, or they always had some funny face or big hair moment, because who's attractive after gym class taking your class photo? But anyway, so this is what I was asking Joe is, we had the sitting photo shoot yesterday for the school yearbook, and that went great, but they were very boring. And and so this question has come up with friends about booking a separate photo shoot, and I asked my daughter, and she is just not formal like that, like not formal, but not into the idea of acting like a model and having all the attention on her. But I told her, I'm like, everybody seems to be doing it. So I was just asking Joe, what do you do with those pictures after you made that big investment? And Joe said,
Well, she either did this. She either kept the pictures for herself.
Yep.
They're just in her room. Or
Okay.
she went back to the photographer and, for less money, all right, out of all the pictures you've taken, I like this one the best, and I don't want any of the others.
right.
So I think that's I think that's what she did. She only picked one out of the shoot,
Yeah.
and now it's, I don't know, $75.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I
maybe
only
I
want
just
the one
haven't
picture.
talked to the right photographers. But in the end, my daughter's a book lover. I said something to her about
She
like,
should be holding the book.
I should take you into a library. Like, I feel like I
Yeah.
should take you into a library. I have a great camera. I do a lot of the photos for St. Antoine Community. I'm like, I'll
can
take
do
pictures of you if you like. I mean,
Yeah.
and she'll be more maybe relaxed with me. But now I feel like a little pressure. Like, I'm seeing all these other kids do it. I never get caught in trends. I like
Yeah.
to have my own mind. But you
But now
know,
you're working against her friends.
I know.
who
So
are
I
saying,
thought
"Well,
Joe
what are
was
you
going to
do?"
tell me, "Oh no, that's foolish." But you didn't say that to
No,
me.
no.
So now I feel I gotta do a little more research. So by next week, if you're listening, if you have an opinion or if you have done this with your kid and you know that it was a waste of $500-$600 because you didn't do anything with those photos other than put
Yeah.
them in a drawer, please call me because I'd rather spend that money on something else.
Something else. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've run out of time, so we thank you for listening into the program today. Always appreciate it. So, Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. I will potentially see you next week. If it's not me, it'll be Robin.
All right. And as we always like to say on the Wednesdays, but Tim's not here and John's not here, we want you to go and enjoy the God-given day. All right. I'm Joe Callahan. Stay tuned for Community Care Alliance. That's coming up next, followed by Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. That proposed winter electrical rate hike we told you about would likely cost Rhode Islander energy customers an average of 23% more this winter. The state's largest utility company proposed a new winter electricity rate to the Rhode Island Public Utility